Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us.
Hello everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Sujata Khandai. She is a professor of marketing and deputy dean academics at Amity University Noida with over 21 years of experience. She also serves as director at Amity College of Commerce and Finance and officiating head at Amity School of Business. She completed her undergraduate degree in economics from Ethiraj College, Chennai, PGDM in marketing from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, and also holds a PhD from Guru Gobind Singh, Indraprastha University, Delhi. She has also served in places like Bajaj Electricals, Kathmandu University, IILM, and ITS. On behalf of Vskills, I welcome you to this interview, ma'am, and I hope you have a good time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me with you.
Okay, ma'am. So to begin with the questions, the first question I would like to ask you is sustainability related processes have recently gained ground in businesses across the globe. So how does sustainability impact marketing?
Okay. Sustainability is something which is a primary concern to each one of us. And if you see the developed economies, they have moved way ahead when it comes to incorporating sustainability processes in all their activities of daily life, in fact, right? Now, marketing is a very, very important function of our daily life because this is how corporations earn revenue and this is what gets the corporations going, right? Now, the reason sustainability has prompted initiatives worldwide is, of course, initiated by UN and the sustainability SDG, as you call them, or what is commonly known as sustainability development goals, right? Now, society's driving force today is nothing else but sustainability because we need to take care of the environment, right? We have to leave behind something for our generations to come. If we consume all the natural resources and we pollute the environment and we bring about the massive climatic changes that we see happening today also, and especially in India, we are witness to it. We will probably leave a planet which is so much worse for our future generations that there will probably be no livable earth. They would probably have to go elsewhere and to search other planets to live on. So that is a reason why probably sustainability is so very important today.
Right. Okay. So, my marketing is currently confronting an immense change due to sustainability and the evolving customer expectations. So, this brings both risk and opportunity at the same time. So, what is your opinion about it, ma'am?
Okay. Now, let us not forget, sustainability is a very complex issue. It is very nice to talk about, sustainability, and we are very sustainable, right? But for an organization to incorporate sustainable practices is not easy. It's difficult, right? You see most organizations incorporating sustainability into their business practices, as in the raw materials that they use, the manufacturing processes that they adopt, the supply chain processes that they have. To a certain extent, they incorporate sustainable practices in some of these processes, but not in all the processes because it is very expensive. So the risks are there. It becomes a hugely expensive process to make your entire operation sustainable, right? From end to end. It's not really possible. And it's not like we started decades back. We just started very recently. There are some organizations like, let's say, Body Shop, Patagonia, we will talk about it later on. They have probably been more sustainable and they have worked hard in incorporating sustainability into their processes and practices quite some time back. So they would be probably at a much more advanced level, but not the others. So yes, the risks are certainly there, and there are immense financial risks, of course, involved. Opportunities are huge, of course, because if you look at it from the customer's perspective, a large number of customers are very woke today or very aware today, as you call them, and they are the ones who, for me, for instance, in many ways, I try to be a sustainable consumer.
Right.
Right. So now you have something called a sustainable marketing and you have something called a sustainable consumption. Now, until unless we engender sustainable consumption amongst consumers, sustainable marketing will fall to pieces. So yes, there is immense opportunity because if you look at the millennials, especially the Gen Z, and I see that the next generation, which is the alpha generation coming up, they're the ones who will demand sustainability and who will demand that it is not only the product which is sustainable from the marketers, but is also the processes that have been adopted to market the product, to manufacture the product, even that is sustainable. So it will be the demand of the generations that we are going to see tomorrow. That is the Gen Z, which is already a purchasing consumer, and of course the alpha generation, which was born 2010 onwards. They are the ones who are going to really demand sustainability from all the marketers, and there lies immense opportunity.
Yes, yes, I agree, ma'am. So basically, sustainability is an important practice to follow for every company.
Yes.
So though there are financial and technical risks, but it is an important thing, right?
It is important. It's going to become non-negotiable in the future. It is like right now, probably we have the choice to adopt or not to adopt, or to what extent we want to adopt, as long as it does not negatively impact our bottom line. But eventually, I think we are moving more towards a circular economy, and that is something that it is going to be. And we will talk more about the circular economy. And the circular economy is something like, the more we move towards being a circular economy, the more it is going to benefit each and every stakeholder. I don't mean the shareholders here, I mean the stakeholders. So it is going to impact each and every stakeholder.
Okay. Like you said, there are financial and technical risks in sustainability, and but in the future it's going to be non-negotiable. So, what do you think are the biggest challenges for implementing and reporting sustainability in marketing and other business processes?
Okay, some of the big challenges for implementing and reporting sustainability, as you say, like accounting has, they have that IFRS, which they call, where they report sustainability. Some of the big challenges would probably be supply chain, because uh, this can be difficult, especially when it involves, now most of the companies are global companies. They work across countries, right? They market across countries. So supply chain could be a difficult proposition, because it involves several nations, and each of the nations have their own legal requirements, which is not necessarily country specific. That's number one. Number two, there are numerous reporting frameworks available today. Every country probably has their own unique reporting frameworks. There are some global reporting frameworks, but every country again has their own unique reporting frameworks. Under this, when you have numerous reporting frameworks available, it can be quite difficult to harmonize them in order to present a clear picture of the company's operations. That's number two. And the third challenge, which I probably envisage for sustainable marketers, is to provide information about a company that covers a broad variety of topics, which includes climate change, human rights, labor, and big geographic areas. So probably these are the three big challenges that I find in implementing and reporting sustainability.
Right, right. Ma'am, at the same time, I also wanted to talk to you about the pandemic, because the pandemic has disrupted supply chains, like you said, across the globe. So, how does sustainability help us address the issue?
Okay, now the pandemic probably, and that is where I spoke about the circular economy earlier, if you remember, right? Now, the pandemic probably has given rise to has kind of awakened most people, most individuals, and most consumers, because we are all consumers. And we were extremely consumerist earlier, in the sense that we would buy, we would use, we would dispose, right? And when we buy and use and dispose, we forget that whatever we are disposing, most of it, 80% of that is non-recyclable, right? So what happens to it? We think we are throwing it in the trash can, and the trash can is taken away by the administration and is dumped somewhere. But the point is that it is not dumped, it just doesn't disappear into thin air. If we were probably to amass all the trash, all the clothes, let's say, just imagine the clothes that we dispose of on a daily basis, each one of us, if that were, and these clothes, most of it is non-recyclable. If they were to be dumped at one place, they would probably fill up all the oceans in the world. Where would we go if all the oceans in the world would get filled up in a few years' time? Right? Water is something which preserves us, which kind of sustains us, right? If all the oceans were to dry up and were to fill up with trash of old clothes, what would happen to us? And that is where we come to the concept of circular economy, where the circular economy mostly talks about sharing. You share clothes, you lease out clothes, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, recycling existing material and products. So today, if you see in India, for instance, and this has been a trend in France and England for quite some time. In India also, I see a particular site which I see coming up on my social media quite frequently, called poshmark.com. Now, Poshmark generally is selling reusable, they don't call it second-hand products. They are second-hand, but they are mostly call it reusable products, recycling products. So I buy something, and so many times what I do when I buy something, I wear it for a few years, I get tired of it, I throw it away. Right? I give it to somebody. If I cannot give it to somebody, I just discard it. Now, what happens? It goes to the trash can. Instead of that, if it is in a good condition, Poshmark takes it, refurbishes it, and then sells it. So this is one way of recycling, reusing it. There is no harm. There is no shame in reusing products, right? If they are in perfectly good condition. In India, it is not considered very good to reuse. We have our own superstitions about it, but I think we should get rid of it. I think stupid superstitions should not be allowed to prevail, and we should be more conscious of our economy and see that we don't overburden the economy with our rubbish. Right? Let's learn to recycle, refurbish, reuse. This is what. So the pandemic has brought us probably something which would have taken probably 2 decades more. Excluding the Scandinavian countries, which are very, very progressive in that matter. In India, probably taken up not only 2, 3 to 4 decades more, but the pandemic has probably brought us closer to being a circular economy, which is being much more sustainable in the future.
Right. That's an interesting take, ma'am. So thank you for that. Like we were discussing in the beginning, like about the Gen Z, you were saying that in the future it will be sustainability will be non-negotiable. So I wanted to ask you that how is sustainability enabling today's new age entrepreneurs?
Now, let's not forget, new age entrepreneurs are not necessarily those who are only in their 20s or 30s. You find a lot of new age entrepreneurs who are in the 50s also. Look at Nika's CEO. So if you look at now another example, which now I will elucidate about the new age entrepreneurs with a very apt example, in which probably all of us will be able to resonate with it. I'm sure you've heard of a brand called Mama Earth. Now, Mama Earth is one of the examples, an example of an Indian startup which has very effectively implemented sustainability into their practices. And one of them has been that Mama Earth plants a tree for every order which is placed with them. And I can even track that. Now, let me go back a little bit here. We have a hugely growing population, which is not really declining at all. It's still increasing, maybe at a slightly declining rate, but it's still going on increasing. We have not been able to arrest our population growth. Now, but we have limited land space, right? And the population needs to live on this limited land space. So what do we do then? How do we ensure how many high rises can we build? India is not a land of the rich, it is a land of the middle class. How many middle class, what percentage of the population can live in these high rises, which are very expensive? So what does India do then? India cuts down its trees to accommodate this population, right? This ever-growing population. Now, so we are losing trees and we have lost trees. Now India has woken up to the fact that we should not be cutting down trees, but we did cut down huge number of trees, right? So what Mama Earth is doing is probably doing a kind of a remedy for the earlier situation by planting trees. Now look at what is happening in India today again. I'm digressing a little bit. I'll go here and there and bring it back together. Look what India is. Delhi witnessed a temperature of 49 degrees centigrade this summer, which is absolutely alarming. Delhi, the temperature would be 43, 44 would be very high for Delhi, right? 49 is unimaginable. Why did it happen? Probably because we have cut down the trees and there's huge climate change going all over the place. And so Mamaearth is probably remedying the situation by planting a tree. That's one aspect of Mamaearth. It is doing something for the environmental good. So yes, this is one way of doing it. And then, of course, there is another new age entrepreneur called Waste Ventures India. What they have done is that up to 90% of waste from landfills is prevented by Waste Ventures India, and they also use this to create organic compost that is rich in nutrients. So this is some of this is how in new age entrepreneurs, sustainability has kind of enabled new age entrepreneurs.
Yes, yes. Thank you for giving those examples, ma'am. So, ma'am, I wanted to ask you that what tools and methods are used for implementing sustainability in marketing more effectively?
Okay. Now, let me tell you something. First, let me become a little theoretical, rather, which corresponds to being practical. Actually, now, if you look at sustainable value, where do you get sustainable value from? You primarily get sustainable value from environment, from the economic value form, and from the social value form. So when you talk of the environmental value form, it includes renewable resource, it includes low emissions, it includes low waste, biodiversity, pollution prevention, right? And when you include economic value form, of course, see now at the cost, you cannot compromise or you cannot sacrifice economic value form just because you want to protect the environment or you want to take care of the social value form, right? The social value form includes equality and diversity, well-being, community development, taking care of labor standards, health and safety. At the same time, both the environmental value form and the social value form can be well taken care of only if you make profits, right? So your economic value form constitutes of business stability, profits, financial resilience, long-term viability, and a healthy return on investment, right? So this is what sustainability stands on, these three pillars. You cannot shorten one of the pillars at the cost of another. All three pillars need to stand strong, right? Now, when you talk about, let me look at, okay, so when you talk about what are the tools, so there was a paper which was published by Bells and Betty in 2009, and they gave they said the most effective tools, and they kind of clubbed it into the 5 P's, and they called it product, price, promotion, place, and people. So as in marketing, these of course are the 5 P's of sustainable marketing, but they should necessarily correspond with customer solution, customer cost, convenience, communication, and correlation. So you have to build the 5 P's with the 3 C's, corresponding with the 3 C's, and you have to amalgamate it with the 3 pillars of sustainable marketing that I spoke of earlier. The 3 pillars as in environmental value form, social value form, and the economic value form. Does that make some kind of sense?
Yes, yes, it of course does. Thank you very much, ma'am. I would like to ask you, ma'am, that what do you think will be the sustainable marketing? What will it look like in the coming 5 years, and how will it significantly impact by new age technologies?
Okay, as I said, we are moving towards a circular economy, right? So if you look at what Patagonia does, Patagonia has been in sustainable marketing for a very long time. They reuse, they recycle. In fact, for instance, let's look at this. I'll give you some very small examples, and these are small steps that most companies have taken to move towards being more sustainable and to making the economy a more circular economy. Some few examples. If you look at MAC, which makes skincare, color cosmetics primarily, and skincare products. You buy MAC products, you use the lipsticks, don't throw them away. Once you finish the lipsticks, take it back. If you give them 3 or 2, I think they give you 1 lipstick free. Right? So this is one way of encouraging, don't throw your trash back. Probably, of course, MAC reuses them. Body Shop does the same. Patagonia does the same, right? So all these brands, all these marketers have tried to reduce landfills to a very large extent, reduce trash to a very large extent, right? So what is going to happen is that in the future, organizations in this manner will be able to produce more and by using less resources, because they are recycling their own products. They'll use less resources, and this way they can encourage accountability and credibility, and this will result in stronger relationships. It will reduce consumer spending. So instead of spending more on the lipsticks, instead of buying two lipsticks, I buy, and if I want to buy two lipsticks, I will buy just one lipstick and I will give back two tubes, two empty tubes, so that I get one lipstick free, right? So I am buying less. When I buy less, I spend less, right? So it reduces consumer spending also. Now, sustainable marketing, again, it goes beyond just using green materials or beyond manufacturing products at a lower cost and so on and so forth. So it is all about collaboration. So now it is more about value co-creation, as we call it, right? You have to bring in customers. They have to become a part of your creation process. They have to understand what they are doing, what you are doing, so that the customers, when they co-create along with you, they become more aware of how much is being wasted and how much is being spent, and they become more conscious consumers in the long run.
Right. Okay. Okay. Ma'am, I would like to ask you that which skills and qualifications do you think are essential to become a sustainability entrepreneur?
Look, to become a sustainable, there are a lot of skills which I will enumerate, of course, and they are very important and they are for everybody, in fact.
Yes.
But as I said, in going forward, you have to become a sustainable entrepreneur. You cannot just disregard sustainability or being sustainable in your operations, methods, and processes and think that you will run a profitable business. That's not going to work. So as I said, the three pillars: economic, environmental, and social, these three pillars are your go-to pillars. There is no way you can work around them. All the three you have to take care. And so the first thing is awareness. You have to be hugely aware of what being sustainable means, and you have to kind of integrate the three pillars into your DNA when you start out on your business. That is absolutely non-negotiable. Having said that, I could probably if a person has a few of these qualities, he or she will, of course, become has the potential to become a sustainable entrepreneur. So you have something called a foundational knowledge, strong leadership, a clear understanding of what the strategic opportunities are. You should be extremely future oriented, and you should have creative and imaginative solutions to problems. You should be able to calculate and pitch potential value, and of course, effective communication skills. Now, why I say effective communication skills is that it's only if you're able to communicate well, you will be able to educate your customers well. Only when you educate your customers well, will they want to, and will they willingly adopt your product? Because please remember, sustainability comes at a price. So if I'm buying a sustainable product, it will be a little more higher price than a comparable product which has not been manufactured using sustainable practices. So a cream by Body Shop or a jacket by Patagonia will be more expensive than any a jacket by a comparable manufacturer who's not used sustainable practices, right? So communication skills are important because that requires educating and making the customers aware of what they are buying.
Right. Ma'am,
Right?
in our conversation, you gave a lot of examples like Patagonia, the Body Shop. You also talked about Mama Earth. So these businesses have successfully incorporated sustainability into their whole business operations. So, what, according to you, are the common mistakes committed by new entrants? Like you said, we have to be able to incorporate sustainability in the future. So, what are the mistakes that can be committed by new entrants who are into sustainability operations?
Okay. See, what happens with new entrants is that they need to look at the bottom line also, right? Most entrepreneurs, again, most of them in India especially, they start out with their own money. Venture capital funding comes later on. It's only when they've proven themselves to a certain extent that they are able to attract funding. Till then, they are on their own because they get money from their friends. They have their own money. The 3 Fs, as they call them, family, friends, and fools, what you call as such. So they get money from them, and so they have to constantly look at the bottom line because they have to pay their employees. So in an entrepreneurial setup, the founder becomes the all in all. He takes all the risks. He assumes all the responsibility. Everybody looks up at the founder for everything. So he's in a pretty vulnerable, he or she rather is in a pretty vulnerable position. And the chances that you will constantly keep looking at the bottom line. And while you're looking at the bottom line, you tend to commit, even though you want to be sustainable, even though you aspire to be sustainable and you have all the honest intentions of being sustainable, you tend to make the mistake of missing the relevancy of sustainability in your business. You kind of overlook that because you are constantly looking at the bottom line. Sometimes you are not able to find the right person to lead sustainable business initiatives because probably they cost more and you don't have that kind of money to pay that person the kind of money he's demanding, right? So you don't find the right person to lead the sustainable business initiatives. You don't have the time because you're busy running the business. And then what happens is the sustainability takes a backseat. The sustainable processes take a backseat, right? Lack of employee engagement. You don't buy in your employees to your sustainability methods. When the employees themselves are not aware, they're not aware of what you intend doing as far as being sustainable is concerned. When the employee is not engaged, sustainability does not just happen. It has to happen with the employee engagement, right? And then, of course, you lack a formal sustainability program and framework in your organization. When the framework is missing, nobody really adheres to it. When the framework is there, it is much easier to work according to the framework. So these are some of the common mistakes committed by new entrants in sustainability operations.
Okay. But I hope the new businesses, the new entrants, they are able to handle, challenge these issues and get through it, because at the end it is important to make our planet sustainable and to incorporate all these practices into our business operations.
Yes, of course.
Okay, ma'am. So coming to the end of the interview, I want to ask you one last question: that what is your advice for the people looking to build a career in this field?
You have to believe in being sustainable. You have to believe that you have to leave a planet. Please remember that you are leaving. We will not be there in few years' time, right? But we are leaving behind a planet for future generations. And we need to leave a healthier planet for them. So that is something which we must believe in, that this planet is ours. There is no plan B as far as a planet is concerned. We cannot say, we have seen a lot of movies, of course, where we run off to this planet and that planet does not exist. This is the only planet that we have. So there is no plan B. There is just one plan and there is just one planet. So let us make this planet more livable. To make this planet more livable, we have to believe in being sustainable. Until unless we believe in being sustainable, we learn more about it, we understand more about it, and enhance our knowledge base related to sustainability. Read about the Sustainable Development Goals. UN has really charted it out very, very clearly and adequately. And understand, of course, what is sustainable marketing, what is sustainable consumption, and also understand how to use limited resources in the most effective and efficient manner. Now, what is sustainability all about? Sustainability is all about using limited resources to maximize benefit. So if we believe in it, if we become sustainable in our daily lives and we believe in sustainability and we integrate that into our DNA, I think that's it. We will make the planet a much better place to live in for the future generations to come.
That's an amazing thought. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for this interview, for agreeing to this. and I hope our viewers will understand what is sustainability and how it can be incorporated into our lives and into our businesses, because it is very important for the future generations, like you talked about. So thank you very much, ma'am. I heartily thank you from the side of from on behalf of Vskills, and hope to have you again on this show.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Vskills, for having me over. And I hope the audience enjoys this conversation. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us.